everybody. Welcome to episode 10 of the Patchman Hockey Show. We are the Patchmen. I'm Jimmy and that's Johnny. And on this show, we look at NHL patches and teach you the hockey history behind the patch. Every patch has a story. And this week, episode 10, we should have a patch
10.
for episode 10.
10-year patch.
10?
Not really. Well.
10 show patch, but this week we're talking about the 25th anniversary season of the 1991-92 Minnesota North Stars.
Yeah, so right here you can see the patch right up there too. It's a pretty big patch compared to pretty much all the other ones. Aside from the Gretzky one, it's a little bit bigger than that one. Right here is worn on the shoulder. You have the black, and then you have the green. You have a referee in there dropping the puck with the face-off, so that's Mike Madonna right there. And then you have
Bill Goldsworthy.
Yeah, Bill Goldsworthy. Just commemorating the 25-year anniversary of the team.
What a cool patch. This is personally one of my favorite patches. It was actually the first patch I collected. I started collecting with the North Stars patch. And I love it. First of all, I love the color scheme of the green, the gold, and the black. That's why, we did our logo after this.
Yeah.
Really, it's after this patch. And the North Stars colors in general. So if you see that little opening thumbnail on the YouTube videos, and our logo, our green logo,
It's inspiration right here.
comes from this patch. Really cool patch. Thick. Well, it's not thick, but I mean it's like heavy. They wore it on the left shoulder, as John was saying, and so it kind of is like a nod to the past and to the present. And there was also some uniform changes that were happening at the time. And
Yeah, so as you can see right here, you have the black North Stars jersey with the new logo, which is reminiscent of the old Stars logo. And then same with the white jersey here with the black piping on the side. And when they went to Dallas, they put Dallas above that. But when you think of North Stars, you really don't think of this jersey. You think of the N with the star.
Yeah.
They had gold, but it was more of a yellow. The jersey was primarily green.
Yeah.
And then, that's really what they're trying to connect here with these two.
It's such a cool concept with the past and the present, and just the whole face-off thing right on the Stars logo. The new that would be the new Stars logo. It's like center ice, number 8, number 9. And yeah, I agree with you. When I think of the Minnesota North Stars, I think of the jerseys that they wore in the 91 finals. Like that year, to march through the playoffs. That is a beautiful green jersey. Those green helmets. Just talk about jerseys that really popped out. It's like they knew they were getting ready to move to Dallas. It's like the black is also kind of indicative of this team, rest in peace, pretty much, right? In a way.
The team is falling apart.
The black,
essentially.
turn the curtain out, right? Like, lights out, it's over. As the North Stars would fade to black, essentially. So yeah, Mike Madonna, very young Mike Madonna, wearing the NHL. Well, for this season, they would wear the NHL 75th anniversary patch. Hence, why they couldn't wear the 25th anniversary patch on the right side of the chest. So they had to wear the patch on their left shoulder. And it's cool how some teams, and we're going to talk about this in the next episode, how some teams they wear double patches. So it's not just one, it's two. On top of, if they have a letter on their jersey.
How many patches are going to fit in one jersey?
Yeah. Gets us excited here at Patchman Hockey. So, anyway, so everybody knows who Mike Madonna is. So Bill Goldsworthy, he played 771 career NHL games with 283 goals and 258 assists. And the North Stars retired his jersey this season during the 25th anniversary season on February 15th, 1992. Unfortunately, Bill Goldsworthy, he died in 1996 of complications from AIDS. He was the first hockey player to come out publicly to have the disease. And he was diagnosed in November of 94. So, yeah, it kind of sad how that the disease took over and eventually took his life. But the North Stars that year, they're coming off a successful run to the Stanley Cup Finals. I wouldn't say successful short of winning the Cup. They lost to the Pittsburgh Penguins in 6 games. And if you go back and you look at the footage from that playoff run, at the Met Center in Minnesota, you had this new logo slowly being introduced, and it was on the boards. And I think they kind of had like a digitized dashboard, and it would show the logo kind of like in a computer graphic. I don't remember if it was on the ice yet or not. I don't.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't think so at that point, but it was slowly like you knew that. All right, the end for the North Stars logo, that's done with. And so it's interesting with the '92 season how it panned out.
Yeah, not good. Did they not make the playoffs?
They made the playoffs, but they were 9th in the Campbell Conference. So you say to yourself, well, that doesn't make any sense. How could they be 9th and make the playoffs, right? So Calgary, so you got to remember the NHL at this time had 4 divisions.
Yeah.
So you had the Norris, the Adams, the Patrick, and the Smythe division. So the Minnesota North Stars were in the Norris division. And Calgary was in the Smythe division, but the Calgary Flames had more points, so they were 8th in the conference. But because they were 5th in their division, it's the top 4 teams that make the playoffs. Calgary missed the playoffs, and the North Stars got in.
Sounds like the NFC East in this year's playoffs, right?
Yeah, seriously, it doesn't make any sense because later on the NHL would just go by points. Like, hey, doesn't matter.
That's how it should be.
And I think whoever has the most points, it shouldn't just be, oh, you're guaranteed because you're 3rd, you're going to make the playoffs. Like, I don't think that works. So, yeah, North Stars finished 4th in the Norris division with 32 wins, 42 losses, and 6 ties. 70 points. That's a horrible season. I mean, wow. Terrible. So like we said, they had the new logo. They adopted the new logo, and they adopted the black color. That was, I guess, they were kind of one of the first, aside from LA. They were probably one of the first teams to adopt black as the primary color, and yeah. I think the primary, it was actually on the ice at the Met Center.
Yeah.
And so the North Stars that season, they didn't fare well in the playoffs. They just barely made the playoffs. And they took a 3-2 series lead in the Norris Division semifinals. However, the Red Wings would win the game. Would win Game 6, 1-0. In overtime, after a video referee review confirmed that Sergei Fedorov had a goal.
And that's the first time that they ever used video review in hockey for the finals.
Controversy.
Or the playoffs.
Yes. And then the Red Wings would go on and win the 7th game at home 5-2.
Yeah, and you can't really blame the refs for that.
No, I mean,
you're not doing your job.
Goal's a goal, yeah.
Take care of your own business.
Yeah, so that would actually be this. They would not make the playoffs the next season in their final season in Minnesota. So for the silver season, this was the last time they made the playoffs. Their goalie John Casey. We talked about goalie masks. He had a couple cool Minnesota North Stars masks with the green and the big star on it. Awesome. I mean, he had 19 wins, 23 losses. Just not good. And, Mike Madonna, what can you say? I mean, this kid, he was leading the team in stats. I mean, he had 33 goals that season, 77 points. One of the few bright spots of the season. Brian Bellows, 75 points, 30 goals, 45 assists. Brian Bellows, longtime North Star. Dave Gagne, 31 goals. So they actually had some players, sorry about the printout. I ran out of ink, I think. So they actually had 4 players over 30 goals. And, They had a young upstart on D, Darian Hatcher, who would eventually become the future captain of the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, that stuck with them for a while.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was a real rough and rugged player. And then Minnesota, they were in a state of flux really with ownership, right?
Yeah, well, with the ownership, they wanted to move the team to the Bay Area.
The NHL didn't want that.
They wanted the big franchise fee. So as a result of that, they ended up allowing the ownership, the Guns, to get the San Jose franchise if they sold the North Star franchise.
To Norm Green and Howard Baldwin. Howard Baldwin was actually one of the original owners of the Hartford Whalers.
I don't know.
Yeah, yep.
So the San Jose would become a franchise. In the following year, during the expansion draft, they actually had a dispersal draft too, where
like half the team was stripped.
Yeah, half the team was stripped essentially. They protected, I think, 24 players or 14 players were protected from the North Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And then, how many? So 14 players were protected. The Sharks would have first pick from the remaining North Stars roster to go to San Jose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the draft, it would be used to fill spots from Minnesota and San Jose.
Yeah, there's that tie there with the North Stars and the Sharks. And the Sharks are celebrating their 30-year anniversary this season. And just think they came from the North Stars, and the North Stars would move and become the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, and what else is interesting, the California Golden Seals and the Cleveland Barons, those teams merged and moved to Minnesota. So you have that Bay Area connection again.
Yeah. It's fascinating. I think the ownership issues in Minnesota it's super interesting and intriguing to look back and say, well, what if? Would Minnesota have left sooner? Because it didn't work.
If they got a new arena, because the Met was kind of falling apart and held 15,000 people. They had the brand new Target Center in downtown where the Timberwolves played. But I saw this online. I don't know if it's true, but one of the main reasons why the North Stars didn't play at the Target Center is because the Target Center had a sponsorship with Coke, and Pepsi was the main sponsor at the Met, and the North Stars didn't want to lose money on that revenue stream. Maybe not.
I just don't think Norm Green really wanted to keep the team because originally he shortly bought out Howard Baldwin, his share. And it was speculation that the North Stars were going to move. The attendance records in the late 80s, it was not good. It was 8,000, 10,000 a seat average in a season. It would be increased when they went to the finals. And that's what happens. I said this early on. You want people to come to games, put a winning product on the ice. That's how you build your fan base, you build your audience, and you plant the seeds for generations of fans.
If they're not going to draw,
Yeah, because I kind of look back, and granted, I wasn't around. We weren't around. We were freaking 3, 4, or 5 years old. It's Minnesota. Minnesota is the state of hockey. So how the North Stars couldn't have worked is a little weird to me. And I get it. You need a new arena. The Met Center was old, and it would be demolished 2 years later, in '94. So it looks like they could have easily went to the Target Center. It seems like Norm Green.
It seemed like more of an ownership issue and battle, and they just wanted that team moved.
Yeah.
You kind of saw the same thing in Atlanta.
Yeah.
With the Thrashers.
They just kind of pulled the plug on it. We're going to Dallas, And it's always a blame game too. It's always with the local officials, and they're the owners pointing the finger at them. We need more money. We need a new arena. We need tax breaks, whatever, and you just don't know kind of who to believe. But Norm Green, he was a pretty shady cat, needless to say, and you can go back and there's a video on YouTube. I think if you just type in Norm Green sucks, it's this video. It's about 12 years old, but it's from the last Minnesota North Stars game, and it's a bunch of fans tailgating, and they're just saying, hey, Norm Green, you're taking our team away, go after yourself, and a bunch of other things. It's funny. It's funny because of the '90s fashion at the time, the hairstyles, like it's funny, but they're all outside of the
Everyone's
Met
got
Center.
heavy Minnesota accents too.
Yep.
But they moved the team. They moved the team to Dallas, and just like we said in the Gretzky episode, south. Who would ever thought you'd see a hockey team in Dallas?
Right. And the Dallas Stars would find playoff success. They would make the playoffs in the first season, '94, and they would win the Cup in 1999, and they beat Buffalo. Very
Controversial finish, Brett Hull.
Imagine if Twitter was around in '99 when that happened.
Oh my God. They
Right.
shouldn't even have shown that replay. Just like,
Yeah, I don't know.
that sucks. I'm sorry, Buffalo.
That sucks, but Stars got their cup, and good for them because they made the finals. They made the Stanley Cup Finals in 1991, but they also made it in 1981 as well. They lost to New York Islanders. I don't know what the results were of that series, but it was their time to get to the cup. And unfortunately, actually, speaking of Dallas, they were just in the Stanley Cup Finals last year in 2020 in the bubble, and they lost to Tampa. So, yeah, but overall, it's a cool history with the North Stars. You wonder, what if teams didn't move? What if Hartford got a new arena? The Whalers would still be where they are. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But things like that just make you think.
Yeah, and luckily enough, like Minnesota came back. They got their franchise. They got a new franchise, the Wild. I think '97 they approved it, in '02, I believe, was the Wild's first season in Minnesota. And Wild's going strong.
Yeah, Wild's going strong. And speaking of the the Wild and their retro reverse jerseys, we talked about it in a couple episodes ago. Hey, you think maybe it's time that the Wild just wear the North Stars colors? Dallas isn't wearing them. Dallas's color scheme is completely different. It's a lighter shade of green. Their jerseys are more like, if you think about the Chicago Blackhawks red jersey, it's like that but green. Then you have the white and the black trim.
Yeah, and everything I read, even though the Stars have all the records, it's an amicable relationship with Minnesota, with the Wild. Easily the Stars can shut down them using those kind of jerseys probably, but I don't think they would.
Yeah, I don't think Dallas would have an issue. I mean, Minnesota, they celebrate the North Stars. I mean, they look back in the past, and you see a lot of those jerseys still. And matter of fact, when Mike Madonna played his final game, I think it was in Minnesota. I don't know if it was the final game of his career.
He wore a North Stars jersey.
He came out and he wore the North Stars jersey. Big standing ovation. Awesome. So he meant a lot to Minnesota. I mean, he was essentially like Team Mussolini. It was, how Team Mussolini was in Winnipeg. You have that young star,
that stuck with the team that you don't really see anymore. I mean, you would see, talking in the '90s and 2000, you can name one player from every team that stuck with them.
Yeah,
now really
had a lengthy career. Yeah. Well, I'd give Jamie Benn credit in Dallas right now. I mean, he's been a star for 8 seasons now.
Yeah.
So he's a good one. But nobody has the career like Mike Madonna had with Dallas. I mean, even Tyler Seguin has been there for a while as well. But I mean, I kind of wonder if they'll even bring back these jerseys at some point. To me, they're kind of just bland. I don't really like them because it's very black and white.
It looks not finished compared to what they did when they went to Dallas with the whole star outline.
Yes, not finished is a great way.
They really polished them, I'd say.
Yeah, I like the star on the helmet, and I really like the patch. I mean, I can't say enough about the patch. It's a really cool patch. It's probably why it was more expensive than some of the other patches that I've bought. And it's just cool. I mean, and this is what the patches are all about. This is what the Patchman is all about. It's all about celebrating hockey history, bringing everybody together.
Yeah, Jimmy says it all the time. There's a story behind every patch, and it's so true. A patch connects to something with hockey. like in memorial of somebody, in memorial of a team,
Yep.
an anniversary, some kind of benchmark.
Yeah. It's something I just noticed now. Did you point this out? But on the patch, there's a star, the new logo, and then the old N
No, I
on
didn't
the
notice
shoulder.
that.
There's actually
Yeah, right here.
yeah, and then there's an N. I had not noticed that before. So that's really cool. Like,
And like the details that go into that, and it's like what we
detailed.
what we think all the time, like what went into making this patch? Who made this patch?
We're gonna find out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. I mean, and plus, the further you go back in time, history, those people probably aren't around anymore. Like working, maybe they are, depending on how old they are at the time. But this is 30 years ago, so that's a long time.
This definitely wasn't made by a marketing department. Like this is straight up like we're gonna put a cool patch together, and this is our thoughts, and let's just put it out there.
I just I can't get enough of it. I really love it. That's why if you guys are collecting patches like us, highly suggest you get the Minnesota North Stars patch. It's probably this one and Lake Tahoe are probably my favorites so far that we've reviewed. But yeah, I mean, do you have anything else?
No, I would say thanks again for checking us out. Keep watching, write a review, please. Let us know what you think.
Subscribe
at Patchman Hockey on Instagram. Trying to come out with pretty cool content every day.
Yep. That's the best place. Instagram's the best place.
It really is. It's Twitter. Too much on Twitter. Instagram. We got everything on there. Check it out. We're the Patchman. I'm Jimmy. That's John. I'm John. That's Jimmy. So, thanks again, guys.
Thanks, guys.